My eldest daughter, Yvette, visited us here in Thailand, about 2 weeks ago. We met her up in Bangkok and showed her around the town a little bit. This video will show what we showed her.
Hey, if you liked the video, go ahead and click on the thumbs up for us, give us a like, and as always, we would just love it if you would go ahead and subscribe so you can see all of our videos. To begin our trip, we needed to pick up Yvette in Bangkok, so we took a bus. Well, we're about ready to depart, and I just thought I'd give it one more shot of Oma and Paco on the bus, about ready to leave. Now, we've taken this bus trip several times, and I've also featured it in more than one video. So this will be the last time that I show it on my video streams. Just suffice it to know that every time that we go, we see something new. And this one was a little bit more complicated in that instead of going to an airport with a specific time in mind, we were going to an airport to pick up Yvette. And when we booked the bus, Yvette had said she was flying into Sevaram Airport, and she ended up flying into Don Muang. So this trip was complicated in that we had to get from Sevaram to Don Muang, which took a taxi ride is all. We still got there before she arrived. And again, we saw a lot of things up. Now I'll let you listen to the music until I get to a point where I want to articulate some more things. Well, we finally arrived and stopped to get a bite to eat before we went down to meet Yvette and she's here. She arrived and was greeted by Oma, and then we headed off for our hotel. We stayed at the Golden Tulip Mandison downtown, and Yvette was hungry, so the first thing we did was go into the restaurant, I think it's Opio, and order some food. After that, we did a really quick look around the hotel, visited we looked around the dining room, obviously, but then we also went out and saw the swimming pool, which was quite nice. I visited it a couple times before we headed upstairs to get some rest. Now, our first day started with breakfast, but then we hopped in a cab. It was a rainy day. It's rainy season, so we decided to go to the National Museum first, figuring it would be inside and keep us out of the rain. The taxi dropped us off at the National Museum. We got to see some sights along the way, which I'm sharing with you right here. But man, was the National Museum impressive. It's huge. It's got 13 exhibition halls. We only got to see 4 of them, and we spent 4 hours there. Now, we did get a lunch later on, but there's just so much to see there. And you can see in the pictures, it's things that we've never seen before. We've seen Buddhas here. We've seen different masks and things and musical instruments, but everything is different from what we grew up with. So Yvette got to see a lot of things that she'd never seen before, and she was very interested in the things that we saw and the things that we did, but she was a little disappointed we spent 4 hours in the first thing because we had paid for a Tuk Tuk Hop on, Hop off type ride to get us around to various different things to see and do. And the real problem with that is that, you spend 4 hours in that regards, and then we only used the Tuk Tuk Hop on, Hop off twice. We used it to get to our second venue, which was the City Pillars, which we'll show you a little bit later. And then we walked over to the Grand Palace, which we'll show you later, and then we did what we normally do. We got on the Tuk Tuk Hop on, Hop off, and went home. But for now, just enjoy all the visual items that we're sharing from the Bangkok National Museum. It was very impressive. So this is the National Museum of Bangkok, and it's huge. We just finished getting outside that first exit hall you see now, and now we're about to go into the second one. So after we finished up, we hopped onto the Tuk Tuk Hop, not Tuk Tuk, Tuk Tuk Hop, and we took a ride down to the city pillars. These next few videos and photos will just show you some of the sights we saw along the way. As you can see, it continued raining, but later in the day it did kind of clear up for us, so we didn't really get too wet. It was actually quite a nice day and great time with my daughter, which I always love. Anyway, as you can see, there's so much to see and do in Bangkok that, you know, I just don't do it justice. The Grand Palace was amazing, but really, really crowded. And, you know, you can see the traffic. That's kind of Bangkok. This white wall, by the way, surrounds the Grand Palace. They do believe in walls in Thailand, and I don't blame them. The crowd there was huge. The city pillars are purportedly where the first stone was laid for the city of Bangkok. And you'll get a chance to see it. I just wanted to show you all the motorbikes. This is just parking for motorbikes for people going in to see the Grand Palace. So, and you can see how big it is based on just the wall, the length of the wall. But anyway, back to the city pillars. The city pillars are pretty amazing. It's basically, again, where the first stone was laid for the city of Bangkok, and they've turned it into a shrine and a temple. And these pictures will kind of show you what you can see there. I turned off the volume so that you won't hear the music playing, but there was music playing inside. It was Eastern music, and it was there for the people who were praying. So I wanted to get quick videos but not intrude on them. Now, once we were done looking around, and there was quite a bit to see, but this was our shortest stop. It was 45 minutes to an hour is all it took us to do that. We headed over to the Grand Palace. The Grand Palace is where the king supposedly lives. I don't think he stays there all the time. They have guards. We're not supposed to take pictures of their ceremonial guards, but they also have a rule: no shorts, no skirts. You can't show your knees. Yvette and I had to buy wraps. Janie had one with her, so she wrapped herself up. I was lucky because they barely fit me, but I just want to say the crowds were, I don't want to say impressive. They were big. There was a lot of people there. We went there on a Friday, so it might be better to go midweek rather than Friday and go in the morning, but there's a lot to see there. The Grand Palace is pretty impressive, and again, like the Shwadagon pagoda that we went to in Myanmar, the size and scope of these things is not only impressive, it's amazing. These buildings will astound you, and if you get to Bangkok, you should definitely take a trip over to the city palace. I don't believe it's free. I think it did cost us maybe $30 to get in or something, but you can see Yvette's grin. She had a good time there, and I certainly did. I tired out a little bit, had to sit down part of it, but fortunately the girls kept walking and shooting video and taking pictures for us all to share with you guys. So, Yvette's friends, next time Yvette visits us, it'll probably be in Nicaragua or Central America somewhere, and you're always welcome to come with her. And you'll get a chance to see things that you might not otherwise see other than in videos and pictures. And, you know, the videos and pictures are nice, but they don't do it justice. Talk to Yvette. She'll tell you how she felt about these things. And, you know, I think she was suitably impressed. We did. To my mind, we got a lot done. Now, this is a guy that we kind of took the picture surreptitiously. We hid the camera while we took the picture, faked a selfie so that we could get the guard, the ornamental guard. They are very impressive. They remind me of the London Guards, the Royal Guardsmen in London. So Yvette and Oma had a great time. I had a great time. And again, I'll let the music play while you watch some of the pictures.
So much to see, so much to do, and I'm an old man who gets tired out. So on day 2, I spent the day at the pool. I enjoyed myself while the ladies went out. Now, unfortunately, they didn't get any pictures.
Jenny loves it when she sees trees and greenery up high on buildings. Me, I just love the pool.
But I wasn't a total slacker. I mean, I did get up to go on the dinner cruise with the girls, and we took a taxi down to where we needed to go. As always, well, it wasn't really a taxi, it was more of a shuttle bus. The cruise people picked us up. But on the trip down, I got some nice pictures. Once we got there, there was a nice lady that gave us flowers like you see on Janie here. And we got an appetizer just while we were waiting, because we were waiting at River City for about an hour or two before we were ready to board for our cruise ships. I was amazed at the number of people there and the number of different cruise lines. It wasn't just one or two, there were a bunch. And the cruises went out every 15 minutes or so to go down the river. We did have a good time once we got on the boat and we started to pull away. You could see there was just a lot to see there. We got to meet some of the people that were waiting as well, some Americans, some others. But we really enjoyed the whole pageantry of it. And once we got on the cruise, there was entertainment. There was a lot of entertainment. There was food. It was a buffet style Thai food, and the video just kind of shows us sitting at our table as we're about to pull out. Now, as you can see, our boat is moving, we're pulling out, and there'll be a lot to see down here, but I'll let you watch it. The entertainment was diverse and varied, and it started with a guy on the horn playing jazz. Needless to say, the girls loved it, taking selfies, dancing, just enjoying themselves all around. And I have to say, I was very impressed with the sights we saw along the river and with the entertainment itself. I thought the entertainment was excellent. Unfortunately, if you've seen any of my Thai videos, you know that I love Thai food. Not the spicy stuff, but overall, I think Thai food is the best I've ever had, and I've eaten all around the world. That said, not so good on this tour. The entertainment made up for it, but if I were you, if I were advising you, I'd say spend a couple extra 100 baht and go on a higher quality tour that might have better food. dancing and partying, we were astounded by the views along the river, glistening pagodas and lit up temples. It was just a beautiful, beautiful sight along the river. And the cruise, I think, took about 2 hours that we were on that river. So we saw a lot, and we had a lot to do. And I have to say, this was my second most favorite thing that we did. Yeah, third. First one is coming up a little later. The second one was probably the National Museum. And I just have to say that there's so much to see and do that I think everybody would enjoy going on this. So you may have noticed that I said that was a lady boy. That's a transgendered lady, and she was fantastic, as were her two compatriots who posed with Yvette after their show. Day 3 brought my absolute favorite thing that we did while we were in Thailand. We went to the King Power Mahanaknon, I think, Skywalk. So it's basically a very tall building that we went up 74 floors. And then we went up 4 more floors in an outside elevator. And then we even walked up another floor or so, another 14 meters. Total thing is we were up over 300 meters. The thing that impressed me was they had a movie inside the elevator, which really helped Janie, who's slightly claustrophobic. So she went up and she didn't even get nervous at all. The sign on the thing shows the floors and the speed, and as you get closer to the top, you slow down. But they were going 400 meters a minute for a while there, so it's pretty impressive. I think it took 57 seconds to get to the top. Now, I told you earlier to remember the Golden Dome. In several of these videos, you're going to see those golden domes off in the distance, and while they may have looked like skyscrapers compared to King Power, they're just tiny. You can kind of look out the windows and you can see this. Now, this is before we go up the final 4 floors. This is all enclosed. There's no open air here. You're inside the building looking out glass windows. And you can see kind of how high up we are, but we're not at the top. We're not close to the top. That comes a little later. Now, we visited this facility at about dusk. We wanted to see it in the daylight and in the evening. And as you can see on this picture, the sun is going down, and a little bit later you'll get to see the lights coming on. So all this is from the 74th floor, which is enclosed. I love the architecture, and I love looking down to see just how far up we are, but we're not at the top. We still got another 4 floors to go, plus 1 floor to climb up the stairs on. So we went up an escalator to get the outside elevator. That'll be shown a little bit later. And you can see the clouds. It's rainy season, so we do have a lot of rain during that time. But as I said, I love the architecture that you can see here. And early on in this video, I showed you a picture of a building with the golden dome on top, and I told you to remember the golden dome. Well, you'll be able to see it shortly. It's coming up it'll be on the right hand side. Well, right there it is on the left hand side, but in the next frame, it's on the right hand side of the screen so that you can see the golden dome, and you can see how small it is compared to the building that we're in. We're in a very, very tall building. I love the butterfly artwork, and Janie and Yvette bought postcards, filled them out, and mailed them, and her mother already has received the postcard, so I'm assuming my mother has too. I'll give her a call and find out for sure, but there was just so much to see and do here, and I like looking down to see where everything is, but the view was amazing. This is why it was my favorite venue that we went to. So much to see, so much to do. But once we got up to the top, and here we are in the outside elevator going up, it's hard to see because there's glass around it and there's glass in it. But we get up to the top, and here you go. We're on the roof. As you can see, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot to see, and again, you know, you have glass to look through to keep you safe, but you can literally reach over the glass and take videos, which I did. That's Janie and Yvette walking ahead of me, but we're headed for the staircase where you can go up 1 more floor. And it's right there on the left. And we did. We went up 1 more floor. We got up to 314 meters at the top. So multiply that out to figure out how high that is, but it's pretty much up there. Tallest building I've ever been in for sure. And you can see a lot of people were sitting there. I thought they were waiting for a fireworks show. Well, there was no fireworks show, but can you imagine what it would look like from this venue? You'd be up even with where the fireworks are actually going off. And so once you got up to the top, you had a little bit better unobstructed view of the buildings and things, because there's no glass in front of you at all, so it's very clear, and you can actually look down from around this thing and you can see different things. Like, for instance, that's the elevator, the glass elevator coming up, but a little bit later I'll look straight down and you can see a walkway where we had to get in line so that Janie and Yvette could actually get on the glass bottom floor, glass floored area. There's a viewing area that has a glass floor, and Janie and Yvette went out and did it. I have to say, I was very impressed. I wouldn't have done it. Here's the line I was talking about, but she got in the line and she went out, and she not only stepped out on the glass floor, but she sat on it. They laid on it backwards, as you can see here, and then they flipped over and laid on it on the front, and Janie looked down. She shouldn't have looked down, but she still had enough courage to go over to the very edge and pose on a bench area. So I was very impressed. Now, the music up here was all canned, except for this lady actually got a violin out and played with the canned music. So it was pretty impressive. I'm not playing it for you because the sound quality is bad, but you can see the lights coming up now, and in a little while you're going to be able to see just how impressive it is when all the lights come up. It's still dusk, so you have enough light that not all the lights need to come on, but eventually, before we left, all of the lights were on, and it was amazing. Just a great view. If you go to Bangkok, I highly recommend you get down to King Power.
and see the Skywalk. Oh, by the way, the clouds went away, the moon came out, and it was just a lovely evening. But that's rainy season here. Apparently, it'll rain like cats and dogs for 40 minutes, and then the lights will come on, and the sun will come out, and it'll be a beautiful day, if not a little bit sticky because of the humidity. But now you can see more and more lights coming on, and this is my favorite stop, and I think you can understand why. Now, before we ever went up, we posed for 4 pictures, and they were taken on a green screen. So they put in backgrounds that we didn't expect. Well, this background is nice, but this one is the one I love because it shows what I call the pixelated building. The pixelated building is the King Power Mahanaknon sky building, the one we were in. After that, we headed home the next day, and we decided to take Yvette to Hua Hin using a train. We used the express train because we wanted her to see some things that she wouldn't get to see otherwise. We'd taken a taxi with her to the airport last year when she visited, so this time we wanted to take her on the train. We got express train. We could not sit together. We all got seats, but we weren't together, but we were in the same car, and we were able to take off. Now, the express train is different from the last train I showed you in that it makes a lot fewer stops and goes a lot faster. It averaged, I would say, 80 to 90 kilometers per hour most of the way. It steamed through some stops, some train stations at 90K. Once it got out away from people, away from the towns, it went up to 120K. I actually clocked it at 112. That was the highest I clocked it at using Google Maps. When there's a road nearby, it'll actually tell you what your speed is going down that road. But unfortunately, where it went the fastest, there were no roads, so I can't say for certain it was 120. Could have been 130. I know it was faster than 112, and so you'll get a chance to see it on some of these videos. I just spliced a bunch of the travel videos through so you could see the traffic that waited for us. You could see the construction, and in this one you can see in this train station there's actually 2 tracks. That's unusual on this trip. A lot of it is only 1 track, so you have to time the trains so that the ones going north don't collide with the ones going south. And we were headed south, so they are building a second track to speed travel. As it was, the express train took us 3 hours, maybe 3.5, between 3 and 3.5 hours. And, we got to see some things that Yvette wouldn't have otherwise seen. Now, unfortunately, once we got to Hua Hin, we did some things together, but nothing really sightseeing type. We took her to dinner, we took her out to the malls, and she got to meet some people, and we had a good time with her, but there's not a lot of photographic evidence, so we're just going to take you to Hua Hin and end the video. So for now, I'm just going to let you listen to the music and watch the pictures. And if you have any questions, as always, we'd love to hear from you. Put it in the comments on the video, because I get notified when there's a comment on the video, and I'll answer any question I can. I'll be happy to go out and research things that you may have questions about that I just don't have the answer to. So enjoy the rest of the video. If you like our video, we would love it if you would go ahead and not only click the thumbs up for us, but subscribe to the channel. Our next video will be probably about 3 or 4 weeks from now, because on August 15th, which is 3 weeks from now, we're headed to Kathmandu for 4 or 5 days, and we're going to meet our other daughter Paula there. So I'm going to do a video for Paula as well as the one for Kathmandu. I may just combine it. I try to keep the study videos a little bit shorter, and the personal videos can be longer because they're for family, so I don't care about it, about the length. And again, if you really like our videos, subscribe to the channel, but also click the bell so you're notified when we put one up. I don't put one up every day or even every week, so you won't get many notifications. But if you don't click the notification bell, you may never know when the video goes up. And you know, we love it when people watch our videos. So, and you feel free to go to our channel, obviously. That's at https://youtube.com/user/comments with a K, KOMMENTS. That takes you right to my channel, and you can watch all of our past videos. Highly recommend the latest 2 travel videos that I did. One was in Kuala Lumpur, which has had almost 30,000 views already. It's by far our biggest video. And the other one is in Yangon. I think Yangon is in Myanmar, which is formerly Burma. Kuala Lumpur is in Malaysia. We love both trips, but there's some sites in the Myanmar video that I've never seen before. The Shwadagon Pagoda is well worth watching that video just to see that. The reclining Buddha was kind of impressive as well. So with that, enjoy the rest of the video.